All right, welcome back, everybody. We're here for our second episode review for Black Lightning. So, Lawanda, Book of Hope. You know what? I tried to research what this title episode could have meant before the episode started. I should have just sat down and just watched it because I could not figure it out. But it all makes sense now. All right, Lawanda, you brought back Black Lightning, and we're going to go through the details, and we're going to tell you guys how. We got a lot of relationship stuff going on. All right, so it's a lot of grown people conversations happening right now. I feel like this show is a little bit too grown for me, and I'm grown. I don't know how to feel about that. How about y'all? How about you, Ken?
I'm gonna tell you how I feel about it. I love it. First of all, one thing that speaks out to me about this episode is that how real these conversations are, and how it actually connects to you on some kind of level. And one thing I want to touch on, or two themes that I think stand out about this episode, are the themes of sacrifice and consequences. Those themes have been prevalent throughout this episode. When it comes to the themes of consequences, every action has had a reaction.
We have people asking the obvious questions like, why did Black Lightning save your daughters and not everybody else they told?
Exactly.
And Lynn was like, I feel like I'm being selfish because I asked you to be Black Lightning for this thing that I wanted, but you can't do, but I won't let you do it for the people.
Yeah, this is definitely a good plot point for a superhero show. A guy who just wants to protect his family, but he realizes that he has a bigger calling. It's the whole city he's protecting, his town he's protecting. So we're seeing a family dynamic and we're seeing a community dynamic, and he's feeling the brunt of it because he's living both. He has his family and he's also working in the community as a principal. So that really touched me because as an educator, you feel like you're trying to. He actually said it. He feels disillusioned that he's trying to save these kids, and once they leave him, they having a better life. But like you said, he's disillusioned because a lot of them ended up dying, and things don't turn out all too well for all of them. So we're gonna move it along just a little bit. So we still get a little bit more about what everyone's been to after this traumatic event of the girls being kidnapped. All right, John, let me know how you feel when Lil Man rolled up on baby girl Ant Farm, sitting out on the steps with the gag.
So first of all, Honey Hathaway rolled up on Ant Farm with the gun, and I was genuinely shocked. Even if I could see the orange tip of the gun, I was like, oh shit, he busting caps. We going here.
I almost dropped my sandwich. I was like, oh, wait, no, this is a plot, this is a character, no.
But what I love about it is, what they don't say is, y'all touched on it earlier, Lynn sees this shit too. She knows he has to come back and be Black Lightning, and that was the main premise of that. Like, you think this is over? No, it's gonna keep going, and we can touch you too. And she's fighting that destiny. And if they do it correctly, like, it puts her in the position to have her own story arc in which she has to reconcile that fact. Like, when it was back in the day, he gave that up for her. Now, is she willing to do the same thing 9 years later just to let him be who he is? And something else that, I don't know if anyone else caught this, it's repeating itself with Ant Farm and her new boyfriend.
Oh yeah, of course.
Except it's reversed now. Ant Farm's Jefferson and the boyfriend is Lynn.
Right.
It's subtle, but it's repeating itself.
Yeah. And speaking of Ant Farm, she's just doing all the drugs. She's smoking, she's drinking. What is going on?
She put a Tide Pod in her mouth. It was ridiculous. I was like, what you doing, Jen? Jennifer could have easily been an obnoxious character doing the shit that she's doing right now.
She's not an obnoxious teenager.
Exactly.
Which is, I've never seen this before.
Exactly.
It's literally a woman trying to come to grips with her reality around her.
How about we go to the point that Lynn confronts Gabby? All right, John, I want you to take this. So it was just set it up. So Lynn, she's having a conversation with Gabby. He's like, Jefferson, he's talking to stuff again. He's doing a Black Lightning thing again. I don't know how I feel about it. I want you to talk him out of it. And Gabby, he's not trying to hear this. So how do you feel about it?
Okay, so the first thing that shocked me is when they were having a conversation and she was like, it sounds like you blaming me for the way he's acting. And Gabby was like, yeah. You need to get back out in these streets.
To interject for 2 seconds, Gabby is so real that Pinocchio wishes he could be him. Carry on.
It's interesting. But at the same time, I'm kind of at a little bit of a tussle with that because you got this character, you got Gabby as a character who, in his role, he sees his community and he sees his community falling down. He knows he's powerless and he knows he can't do anything about it in the way that Black Lightning can, but he's doing everything that he can. But I'm not gonna lie, that coming from a white man.
And taking that out of consideration, what I see them as, this is where the whole duality thing comes in again, from what you want and what you need, and her representation of what he wants, and that's from the beginning what I bring in with the whole sacrifice thing. And he's like, look, he sacrificed what he needed to do for you in the past, and with the city has faltered because of that. Right. Can you really accept him doing that again just for you? Right.
So that's why I like what you guys said earlier, that we're actually going to see some character arc from Lynn herself, from her perspective, because she has a part in all of this. Her husband was Black Lightning, and she's trying to get her family back together. Jefferson's trying to get his family back together, but the city needs him to be a hero right now. So she has to deal with this, and hopefully we see some more character development and her perspective as the show goes on. So, something really messed up happening here, man. So Lawanda, she got it. She wasn't listening. She was worried about her baby girl, and Lala showed up, and she got a little bit too personal. She pulled out the camcorder on him, and he popped her. She had 2 camcorders going, so she had her cell phone in the car. So how you feel about that?
And that's what I pointed out. You said she messed up, but actually no. Remember the theme I pointed out was sacrificing. Right. She knew what was going to happen when she rolled up on him. She already knew her life was in danger.
And not only that, it's not the fact that she knew what was going to happen. She made the conscious choice that, okay, we kind of sped past this, but I'm going to come out and say it. A lot of the community people in this show act like they know he's Black Lightning. Yeah, and they're aggravated because, motherfucker, you could do something.
This community
Why don't you do something?
This community is not stupid by any stretch.
Exactly. And it's almost like she made the conscious choice that I have to die to get the community safe again, or to get a safe rolling. Exactly. I have to die to get things rolling.
Right. And everybody's like, look, dude, you wear goggles. We know who you are.
and I don't
even
think
the police chief.
And I don't think she would have done that if she wasn't completely conscious in her heart that she knew that he was Black Lightning.
Yeah, I think this is it. We had this theory, and I think it's gonna be interesting to play out because we were wondering, why Aunt Farm didn't know that was her dad, and she said, it was like light emanated from him, so she couldn't really see him. So I'm assuming that he does this from time to time. The police are saying we don't need Black Lightning, and Jefferson standing in front of a group of parents like, all of this is under control. The police got everything under control, and they're like, no, they don't. Black Lightning came to save your girls. What about the rest of our families and the rest of the community? And the police is not doing anything or can't do anything. And Jefferson, you see the frustration that's going on because he's talking to the inspector, and he's like, yeah, we couldn't really do much. So he's like, well, shit, I guess I do need to become Black Lightning. All right, so let's move it just a little bit forward. Hands had to be thrown. All right, so Christian, Black Lightning rolls up at the Marriott Inn. He's like, point me to Lala, and they were like, right away, sir.
Doorman, yeah, you were too quick with that. Dude in the elevator, we appreciate you, but yeah, just move aside. And I gotta be honest, Layla needed some help.
There's one thing that you're forgetting, but I got your back. The music as he strolled into theme or walk.
Yeah, I was about to say the camera angle too. He was like, yeah.
I have one question though. So the beatdown is definitely glorious. My thing is, how does Black Lightning get around? Like, does he just walk around?
Yeah, like he was just walking down the street, but at the same time, he went to the top floor of the hotel and then jumped off the building, and we don't. What happened? How did man fly?
We never ever see Black Lightning like arrive to a scene, he's just there.
Hey.
Alright, so Lala get the brakes beat off of him. There's nothing he can do against Black Lightning. We know this. So the police show up for some reason.
To save his life.
We know the reason. They came because, he killed Lawanda. But, in the nick of time, before Black Lightning shut his lights off. So, we see the fly moment where Black Lightning jumps off the roof. All right, so moment of truth. The episode is pretty much coming to an end. Lala has been put in jail. So we got the big man coming on the scene. All right, Mr. Tobias.
Who was awful, being heavy on the racism. he was throwing some racist barbs out there.
Tobias calls it like he see it, man.
You made
All
me
right.
albino.
I consider him like a bald head Jadena.
Your big lips like, hold up, Shawty.
You lost my train of thought. So Lala, he's in jail. Tobias pays him a visit. Turns out the cops is on Tobias' payroll. Shocker. All right.
But it's one thing I love about this. One that shows his power. Because most people think, all right, he's just a street thug. But no, you got to think, like, this is such a high level of power to just make police get out your way so I can go and murder someone in your jail. This also mirrors into, like I said in the beginning, the two concepts of sacrifice and consequence. And the consequence of Lala doing his thing is that he, reaches benefits because he was like, look, you'll shoot a woman in the streets, that means you'll probably snitch on me too. Yep. And that's what I love about this show is that, there's no time for patriotic bullshit. If you get in the way of people and constant stuff will happen. It's not like, we'll rescue you next week. No, you're fucking dead.
Right. Actions have consequences, like you said. All right, so as we said, the show is rounding out. One thing we forgot to mention, we got the Curtis Mayfield music playing in the background. We said that it was like grown people, whiskey drinking music. And what did we see? We're sitting in the dark room, drinking whiskey.
The only thing he was missing was the velvet smoker coat. and the cigar. But
Jefferson was sitting at home looking at pictures of his baby mama, aka Lynn. All right, reminiscing on the good times.
See, 30 years ago, that would have been a wallet.
All right, so we end our last final scene of the show. I'm gonna pass this off to you, John. You know more about this character than the rest of us. Nissa's in the drugstore, minding her business, having symptoms of her powers. It's getting robbed, and she handles things. What do we need to know about this?
Thunder is emerging. So for people who don't know, Anissa has the ability to change her density. So she can become like hard as rock or whatever. And the reason they call her Thunder is because like she'll jump off of shit and land in, sound waves and shit. I want to add something too as an aside. We mentioned how when Jen saw Black Lightning and there was a glow, I don't think it was because he did that. Her power's coming out too. Her power's coming out too.
I was about to say anything because he's like the embodiment of lightning. And her power is pretty much like you can't help but see that.
Okay.
Because she got the same powers as him.
So he got the glow, she got the glow.
Yep. Thunder didn't get the glow, but she got them hands. That's all that matters. She got them hands.
I'm waiting for Tobias to be like, who's the baddest? Who's the strongest? How old is this movie?
I know Grace Choi is coming soon. I'm curious on how they're gonna do her power set too. She's an Amazon.
Right. So
Can't do that on the TV shows for some reason.
So let's just circle back real quick. This will be the last thing. Everybody was booed up this episode. I feel like nobody was living single. All right. So
I see what you did there.
Quit.
I see what you did.
It was just hanging there. All right. So Anissa's, everyone got their relationships going on. Of course, we already talked about Jefferson and Lynn. Ant Farm and her guy friend, Khalil, I believe. I hope this guy sticks around. He may be a good influence. I hope. I'm praying nothing happens to this guy.
We all pray for Ricky too.
this was a pretty decent episode. Like it didn't fall too far from the first.
It didn't need the action because the character development was there.
Right. So, you know, every superhero needs their character development. Every TV show needs the development for their characters. This did a perfect job. For one of the villains to be off in the second episode, that's I've never seen anything like that.
Actually, when you think about it, 2 of the 3 villains, because the cousin was killed off screen, but they found him in a dumpster.
Yeah.
I thought he turned him into a meta after the ass whooping he got in the first episode.
And one thing that I do like about this show is that it's kind of taking cues from like Logan, where the superhero aspect is kind of like the background of it.
Right.
But it's like the reality that goes on within this community that drives the storyline.
Right. And I'm interested to see going forward. Just one of my hopes is that, you know, what if Black Lightning takes a back seat to this and lets one of the girls step up? We've already seen in teaser promos that Anissa is going to have an outfit. I guess sometime in this season she's going to get that outfit. So, you know, let us know what you're thinking. What are your hopes? How did you feel about this episode? How many lightning bolts did you give it?
Hashtag culture shock.
5 out of 5.
5 out of 5. All right. So, of course, we have other reviews that we do for the CW superhero shows as well. This guy right here, he does the I Got the Runs Flash review.
I don't even want to talk about that.
You can catch that on Tuesday nights. Of course, you know, we'll put this out as soon as we can. Of course, we also do our Arrow reviews weekly as well. So, you know, poke around, hit that subscribe, hit the bell. Look out for more of our reviews. Let us know what you thought about the show. Peace.